Okay, Jai Chandra, everybody. We are starting our class, and we have uh, new energetic person also starting. Ketan, welcome to the Wednesday group. And can you hear everybody?
Thank you, Jai Jinendra, Kirit.
Jai, okay, all right. So we are going to start this stanza number 4 that I send the slides to everybody. And let me just bring those slides up here. Okay. So here we are doing the Samaysar for last several weeks. And in this Samaysar, as we know that this Samaysar scripture was written about 2000 years back by Acharya Sri Kunkun Swami. And the important is Kunkun Swami was born in our area, which is called Bharat Kshetra. When you talk the Jambu Island in the center, then there are 3 parts are there: north part, south part, and middle part. So we are part of the south part, which is called Bharat Kshetra. And in that one, Kunkun Swami was born, and he was among with us. And then he had extraordinary capacity through which he was able to travel by himself to Magde Kshetra. Magde Kshetra is the middle part of the Jambudvip, and there he listened to the discourses of Kunkun Swami, Sivananda Swami. So he stayed there for 8 days. He also talked to lots of other renowned Acharya Bhagwan and everybody. He cleared his lots of doubts and came back. And thereafter he started writing the scripture. This writing of the scripture, what he did, there was a palm leaf, dried palm leaf, and through the needle he will write down those things, and he will leave those things and he will just walk away. Somebody was able to collect all those things, and that is this Samaysar, present day Samaysar. We have 415 stanza. And our beloved Gurudev Sri Kanji Swami analyzed those things, and he gave lectures on this Samaysar 415 stanza, and he will just go on and on and on and on, just to make it simplification for all of us to understand exactly what it means. How is this scripture? What's my nature? Who am I? Where am I coming from? And all those answers he gives to us. And with our fortune that Gurudev Sri Kanji Swami analyzed those things, and on Monday, actually, day before yesterday, that was his 126th birthday celebration. And I was in Santiniketan, and we were able to celebrate together with lots of mumukshus and everything. So Kanji Swami, 126 years back he was born, and then he gave discourses starting from age 45 all the way up to age 90. For 45 years he kept on giving lectures, and every day without fail he will give a 1 hour lecture minimum, at least on Samaysar. So this Samaysar is been given in a detailed explanation of everything. So what we did in the first stanza is kind of invocation of blessing, that he is saying that liberated soul, I bow down to you and I would like to become like you. So he just gives the invocation of blessing. Then right away he goes to next stanza and he says, what is the real nature of the soul and what is the mixed up nature of the soul, and he explains those things. Then in third stanza it says that he just further goes into the nature of the mixed up soul, And he explains about it. In fourth stanza, what we are going through right now, it says, Sutta parichita anubhuta sarvane kama bhoga bandhana nikatha parthi juda ekatvani upalabdhi keva sulabna. What he says, since time infinite that my existence is going on, and in that existence, when I was in the lowest of my lowest category of a living being, which is called Nigod, the lowest category of myself, I was thinking that my body is me, my body is me, my body is me. Now that I'm in the higher chain of knowledge and I'm the human being, I still think body is mine, and I do all the activity pertaining to my body. Whatever happens, I'm hungry, I would like to eat. I'm thirsty, I would like to drink. I want comfort, so if it is hot, I would like to have the air conditioning. If it is cold, I would like to heat it. So every activity I do is pertaining to the body. And because I'm doing since time infinite, and now that he's going to tell what the time infinite means in this stanza, that it becomes kind of second nature for us to go into this deluded state, to go into this perverted state, to go into the state in which I depend for my comfort on outside material objects. And so it has become, because it's going on since time infinite, that it has become my second nature. So it says that it's kind of easy now for me. And Acharya Bhagavan says, you know, your nature is pure. Why can't you be in your pure state? For example, sugar. What's the function of sugar? Always to give sweetness, no matter what. No matter what it is, it gives sweetness. Now, what's my pure nature? My pure nature is only knowledge, 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 knowledge. I see the whole universe and I know I have that knowledge. But now here what I'm doing, instead of staying within my own natural state, I go into the perverted state. And so they say that that is not good. So to go within my pure nature, I made it myself so difficult. So now Acharya Bhagavan says that one is telling that this state is going on since long time. What is that long time means? So we are coming to those kind of slides. I think this is about fourth session that we are doing in this stanza. So some of the things we have done quickly, so we'll bypass those things and we'll come to the real thing that we are talking about. So here, let's see. Okay, so I'm existing since time infinite. Then Acharya Bhagavan says, what is the time infinite means? Then it says Panch Paravartan, 5 types of cycle of wandering. What are those 5 types of cycle of wandering? It means, 1 second. Okay, it means Dravya Kshetra Kal Bhav Bhav Paravartan means cycle of change of matter, space, time, incarnation, and thoughts. These are the 5 types of cycle of wandering I'm going on. So now further he describes what those cycle of wandering means. First one is cycle of matter, means related to matter particles, acceptance and renunciation. Then there is a quasi-karma cycle of matter, karma cycle of matter. Then second is a cycle of space, means kshetra paravartan, means to touch the space point of a whole universe one at a time. Then there is a cycle of time, kal paravartan, means cycle related to having birth and death related to the time cycle. And we finished those 3 and we are coming to this 4th one, cycle of incarnation. So we'll go quickly and because I think just to bring the Ketan on board, so at least we all are together, so nobody gets lost unnecessary, and so our continuation going on. Dravya Paravartan means let's say that I am born today. Means when I was born, I had certain kind of inclination of attachment and aversion at that particular time, certain things within me. And at the same time, there are certain amount of material particles got accepted by me in particular strength. So exact situation of me with the same inclination of attachment or aversion, number one, and also exact amount of material particle to come in a exact proportion and getting stuck to me, that time exactly happening in the future, it's called one dravya paravartan, one cycle of matter, which can take infinite amount of sets of 24 gods. Means Rishabdev Mahavishwami is a one set of 24 gods, and in the past, infinite amount of those 24 sets occurred. At that time, the same situation occurred to me to accept this material particle. Those things are occurring again similar way. It takes infinite amount of times. And how many of this cycle of matter I did so far? Infinite times I did that. So again, it just gives me idea how long am I existing. Cycle of space that we talked about, number 2, means if we take the whole universe and divide into its own teeny tiny microscopic area, in the sense, let's say that I took one cube and I divide into 2, further into 2, further into 2, and I come back to the point in which I cannot divide that teeny tiny particle into 2. And that is called one Pudgal particle, one particle of matter, one atom of matter. Now remember, when we say atom of matter, atom doesn't mean scientific atoms, the way we know the science. Because in the science, that atom means the smallest part of H2O. For example, H is the smallest part, but or hydrogen is smallest part, oxygen is smallest part. But if we take that one under microscope or electron microscope or whatever things available to me, I can find proton, neutron, electron, and all kind of things are included in that atom, science atom. Jainism says, no. We are not talking that atom. We are talking even further down, in which proton, neutron, electron, quarks, everything cannot be divided further into 2, and that is the Jainism atom. And now that atom accepting certain space point, how much it will occupy, that will occupy teeny tiny slightest space, and that teeny tiny slightest space is called one space part, one space. And that one space, whole universe, whole cosmic space means my Earth, all the sun system with 9 planets, and in stars and all kind of thing, an infinite amount of another sun systems present in Milky Ways and everything. All those things included, and you divide them into these teeny tiny smallest spaces. Now, I take one space point and I'm born there. After that, I die. And then after death, I go to some different space point, different way of life, or whatever happens. And I keep on wandering in the transmigration. And then when I take the birth to a second space point, that's called number 2. After that one, I keep on wandering somewhere else and all kind of thing. And after infinite amount of time, I take the birth into the third point, space point. And like that, of the universal area, if I take the space point one at a time in a linear way, I touch everybody in linear way. And that once I complete the whole cosmic space, then it's called one kshetra paravartan, one cycle of space. Now imagine how much time it took it. infinite amount of number of years that pass by, number of 24 sets of Tirthankaras pass by, and all kind of things has happened. So that cycle of space, one cycle of space include all those things. And how many of the cycle of space that did I go through it so far? Did I means my soul, me as a soul went through it? It went through infinite of those cycle of space. I went through it. And in spite of that, I kept on thinking that body is mine. I'm getting happiness from outside object. Somebody is making my life miserable. All kind of things when I'm thinking, because of those thought process, because of this thing that I kept on repeating again and again. That's why to go into association with the matter particle, everything has become kind of second nature for me. And with that second nature, I'm remaining unhappy right now. That's why I don't have liberation. Mahavir showed us the path. Kun Swami showed us a path. Gurudev Sikhanji Swami showed us a path. That take your attention away from those alien objects. Take this attention away from Parapadarth. Put your attention to your true nature of the soul, and you can finish all these cycles of all these 5 cycles within no time. Now comes the cycle of time. Cycle of time means Kal Paravartan. How long? What does the cycle of Kal Paravartan means? It means that the time cycle, if you look at it, one time cycle, it's a one circle practically. I think we may have a slide, so we can just go through those slides. Cycle of matter, cycle of karma, space, cycle of time. Okay. So one cycle of time means one time cycle has ascending and descending limb. If Mahavir used the word Utsarpinikal, Ausarpinikal. Utsarpinikal has a 6 phases of time. Ausarpinikal has 6 phases of time. So right now I'm in the 5th part of the descending cycle. Then it will be 6th part, and then I'll start with the ascending cycle. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then again I'll start descending limb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Descending limb means progressively the external happiness starts decreasing. And 5th and 6th cycle, there is going to be tremendous amount of physical pains that one goes through. Ascending limb means progressively increasing amount of happiness one perceives. So this kind of thing is called one time cycle, which has 20 Kroda Krodi Sagropam. 20 Kroda Krodi Sagropam means 20 times 14 Sagropam, 20 raised to 14. 20 raised to 14 Sagropam years. Sagropam years means it's an infinite amount of time. Sagropam means if you take a 4-mile width, 4-mile long, and 4-mile deep ditch, and you fill that ditch with the newly born sheep with the silky hair, and you cut them into pieces, so tiny piece that you can't make more pieces out of there. Those kind of hair, you fill the whole ditch so much, so tightly you put it in that even the chariot of the king passes, that it does not get depressed. This kind of compactness of this ditch that we do with this hair, every 100 years we take one piece out. And a number of years it takes to complete that. How many years?
20 times.
No. One hair you take it out. Every 100 years you take it out. Till that ditch is completely empty. How many years will it be? infinite amount of years, right? That is called 1 Paleopom years only. Now, 10 raised to 14 of this Paleopom year will make 1 Sagropom years. And those Sagropom years, when you say 20 raised to 14, 20 raised to 14 Sagropom years makes one, means it's 20 Kroda Krodi Sagropom years, means that's a one complete time cycle in which there will be 2 sets of 24 Tirthankaras will happen. So this itself shows one time cycle has an infinite amount of years that as we are talking, and as we said now, in this time, 2 sets of 24 Tirthankaras are born. Now, in this cycle of time, what happens? Now that the 20 Kroda Krodi Sagropam years, 20 raised to 14 Sagropam years, now you divide into Samay, smallest moments. Definition of Samay is there, which we will take some other time, but right now, blink of an eye, just one blink of an eye, there are innumerable time passed by. Innumerable means 10 raised to 29 and beyond in one blink of an eye. So now that kind of Samay, you take one Samay, and I'm born in first Samay, then I go somewhere else, move around, whatever, and then by transmigratory wandering, when I come to the second Samay and take the birth, then third Samay and take the birth, then fourth, all these things happens, and when I finish this 20 Kroda Krodi Sagropam years in succession with the taking birth, that will be called one cycle of time. Think about how many time passed by. Infinite amount of time passed by. So, in this fashion, when this soul finishes all the samays of the one time cycle, then it is one time cycle, one cycle of time finished. And how many of those cycle of times that I have gone through? Infinite of those things. So that gives us idea how long am I existing. After telling all these things, Acharya Bhagavan wants to tell us that because I went through all these things, each time with all this huge amount of times, I kept on thinking, body is mine, body is mine, body is mine. I kept on doing process for my body. Today I had a pain in the leg and my whole world come to an end, and my attention was to my left calf area only because I have pain. But it was a pain to the body, not to the soul. Soul is a pure. Soul does not have the pain. Soul perceives the pain because soul thinks that body is mine. That's a mistake I'm making. Since time infinite, and I have to break that habit. I have to start thinking thinking about my pure nature. So Kunkun Bhagavan wants to tell us right now how we have tuned ourselves to think that everything in the universe, everything that my happiness, everything my misery, everything comes because of somebody else. Somebody else is responsible for that. I'm just passing the buck. But there's a saying in America that buck stops at me. Ultimately, I am the responsible party. I have to take that responsibility and keep going. That's only the way I can make my life go straight in a straight line. Now we are coming to cycle of incarnation, Bhav Paravartan. Bhav Paravartan means since time infinite, I keep on taking birth after birth after birth after death after death after death, and this keeps on going from hell to heaven to subhuman to human, and again same thing keeps on repeating again in their own crazy pattern, everything. So what does that cycle of incarnation means? Right now, to understand that one, minimum age of infernal and celestial life is 10,000 years. If I end up going to hell today, it will be minimum time I will stay there was 10,000 years. If I go to heaven, minimum life is 10,000 years. Max will be 33 Sagropam years. Remember Sagropam? Now we are not going to talk about it. We know exactly what Sagropam means. So max I can stay in hell or heaven is 33 Sagropam. Minimum age for human and subhuman is intra-Indian hour and maximum is 3 Palya. Intra-Indian hour means the smallest possible time, means a blink of an eye that in uncounted amount of samay pass by. So the smallest part is called lowest end of this intra-Indian hour. The word that the scripture will use is called antarmurag. And highest part of this intra-Indian hour will be 48 minutes minus 1 samay. So this whole range of time cycle that we get from minimum to the 48 minutes minus 1 samay is called intra-Indian hour. And that's a minimum life that I can have as a human or subhuman. And maximum is 3 Palya, means 8.4 times 8.4 million. 8.4 million times 8.4 million, that will be 1 Palya. And that is, those are the, if you take 3 Palya, that's my maximum life as a human or as a subhuman. Yesterday we were in the rainforest area, and then they said, these trees are there for 500 years and 600 years and 700 years. Well, those trees can live up to 3 Palya. What a big deal. I'm here in the Jacksonville area, and I went to my nephew's place of business, and they said, this tree is there for how many years? 600 years. And my God, people come down and start taking pictures and all those things. Well, this 600 years is nothing. This thing, that tree can stay alive for 3 Palya, means 8.4 million times 8.4 million years. Okay, now that we are coming to cycle of incarnation, that when living being finishes, minimum and then maximum years in each realm of existence in sequence, then one cycle of incarnation is done. For example, let's start from the hell. 10,000 years is minimum time that one lives there. So 10,000 years plus 1 samay that I'm being given the punishment in the hell. So 10,000 years plus 1 samay, and thereafter I just come out of the hell and I go to heaven, human being, subhuman, whatever places I go, and then I come back again, and 10,000 years plus 2 samay I take the birth. That's number 2. 10,000 years plus 3 samay. That's the third. And things like that, when I finish from 10,000 years minimum to 33 Sagropam years max in the hell, in the sequence, that's a hellish bow is done. Now we are coming to heavenly living beings bow, means births and everything. And once we finish that part, then we come to human from an intra-Indian hour all the way up to 3 Palya, and same thing for subhuman, intra-Indian hour to 3 Palya. So all those things combined together will make a cycle of incarnation. That means I am existing. I have completed one cycle of incarnation. I completed one Bhav Paravartan. And how many of this Bhav Paravartan I finished? Infinite amount of those things in the past. This gives the vastness of the time, macro time to me, telling me how long am I existing. And in the celestial life, we already talked about it. So now, how long am I existing? Means how long am I existing since past? These are the infinite amount of times. Now, how long will I be existing in the future? Infinite amount of time that we passed in the past times infinite number of years I may be existing in the future also. So, it just gives you just vastness of this macro time. Our Tirthankar Bhagwans, our Acharya Bhagwan, with their own experience and with their own wisdom, when they have seen this kind of thing, when they've experienced this existence of this time cycle and everything, that they put it in the word format to give it to us today, so we know it. Now, knowing all this thing, I get frustrated that, oh my God, if I'm existing since this much amount of time in the past, and each time I kept on acquiring more and more and more karma, what will happen to me? I will never be able to get rid of my karma. So hell with it, heck with it. I don't want to do anything about it. I don't believe all this thing. I don't want to worry about it. I'll just live my life today. Why do you want to make my life miserable by giving me all these crazy numbers and everything? Acharya Bhagwan says, understand that Tirthankar Bhagwan also had the same past like yours. But they realized their soul, and within no time they got liberated. So it is possible for you also to get liberated in no time. Infinite amount of darkness, pitch darkness is there in one room. And I'm being told to remove the darkness. And I try to remove the darkness. It's an extremely dense, infinite darkness, pitch darkness. And I want to try to take the darkness out. And I take the bucket full of this darkness and throw it out. Take another bucket full of darkness and throw it out. If I keep on doing, it will not get rid of I cannot get rid of the darkness in my life cycle, in my infinite time of existence, nothing. But a wise person comes and says, he taps on my shoulder and says, buddy, don't worry about this darkness. You want to remove the darkness? Yes. Just light the matchstick, light the lighter, bring the light. You bring the light, an infinite amount of darkness from the time from infinite area, it will, within a split second, it will disappear. So all this existence of infinite times from past, and I'm acquiring bad karma and everything, that everything can be taken care of in a fraction of a second. In one samay, I can take care of it. So by giving me this infinity of my existence in the wrong kind of existence, for example, it's a mithyatva, means a wrong belief, means body is mine, body is mine, body is mine. That kind of thinking, when I have it, then here what I'm doing, by that kind of infinite amount of existence I have it, that body is mine, body is mine, body, that wrong belief makes me acquire infinite amount of karma. And now I'm going to take that one out by matchstick with my light of knowledge, and in a fraction of a second, I can remove the darkness. So Acharya Bhagwan says, don't get frustrated. I'm just telling you all this thing because you have made your life in such a way that body is mine, body is mine. And that kind of wrong belief, it has become second nature for you, because for time infinite, you kept on doing that, kept on doing. For example, our kid is there, and kid wants to go to school, and he wants to learn ABCD and everything. How long it takes for her or him to know A and B and C and D, and it's a lot of effort you have to put it in. Once you make those effort continuously, once the child keeps on doing this then continuously, then it becomes second nature for him. Right now, in my dream also, I will not write A in a wrong way. I will not write B in a wrong way, because now I know how to write A, B, C, D. Same way. Since time infinite, when I'm existing, and body is mine, body is mine, body is mine, body is mine, and that kind of idea has made it such a way that as soon as I see body, that's mine. I'm in the lowest form of a cycle of existence in the form of nigod. When there is teeny tiny of a small amount of knowledge is existence, and in that knowledge also, body is mind, that kind of things are going on. So, I'm the human being right now. Where I'm hungry right now, where I'm thirsty right now, where I have pain, everything happens to body, happening to me. That kind of wrong thoughts I have it. I want to remove that. So that's a cycle of incarnation we did. Now the last part comes a cycle of thoughts. This is the most kind of difficult to understand, but we will make it easier as much as possible. Listen, karma gets bonded in 4 forms. When I am doing any inclination of attachment or aversion in my soul, me as a soul just has inclination of attachment or aversion. This glass of water, I love it. This tall glass of water, I like it. But this table is old, maybe I don't like it. My computer did not work today, I didn't like it. So that kind of likes and dislike, it keeps on going within me as my own inclinations. Me as a soul making those inclinations. At that time, the karma comes and they get bonded with my soul. Because I did intense liking, then intense form of positive karma will get stuck with me. I did intense disliking, then intense form of negative karma will get stuck to me. So positive or negative intense form of karma will get stuck to me. So karma gets bonded in 4 forms actually. What are those 4 forms? Number 1 is types, second is amount, third is duration, fourth is intensity. Now, types is prakriti, amount is pradesh, duration is sthiti, and intensity is anubhag. Prakriti, pradesh, sthiti, anubhag, or type, amount, duration, and intensity. These 4 things, in these 4 patterns, this karma gets bonded to me. Prakriti, pradesh, sthiti, anubhag. Now, what does it mean? Soul's passions are involved in duration and intensity. Soul is making passion. Passion is toxic emotions. These toxic emotions could be in the form of anger, deceit, ego, greed. This anger, deceit, ego, greed are called toxic emotions. These toxic emotions are the reason for the karma to get bonded in the form of sthiti and anubhag, means duration and intensity. Means whenever the karma gets bonded with me in 4 fashions, out of which soul's toxic emotions are the reason for soul to get bonded, karma to get bonded for certain amount of time in the future for me. Or they will also have certain intensity, means when the karma that comes in the fruition in the future, what intensity they'll be coming in the form of fruition. So for example, right now I have anger. With my anger, the anger karma comes and gets stuck with me, let's say X amount of years. And at the same time the karma decides how intense form of fruition I'm going to give it to this soul. So duration and intensity, that means sthiti and anubhag, they both are decided by my own toxic emotion from within me. Does it make sense? My toxic emotions makes how long the karma will stay, and when it comes in fruition, what will be the intensity at the time of fruition. So those 2 things are done by the soul's toxic emotions. Now, soul has a vibratory capacity of the space point. This is very important concept that we have to understand. When we say yoga, We have to see what Jain perspective, what is the perspective of Acharya Bhagwan when he says yoga. When we say yoga means what generally? Yoga means to join. We just said yoga means to join. My soul joining with the so-called God. That's called yoga. Generally, in this Western society and in especially in the US, when say yoga is converted into yoga, and yoga means raise your leg, raise your hand, and do this and do that. Everything is called yoga. That is not the yoga according to Jain perspective. Jain perspective of yoga means vibratory activity of the soul space point. Now, quite a few words came in. Let's dissect them. The soul has an innumerable space points. Means soul can occupy so much space. And that space has innumerable space points. Okay? Like, for example, what's your house? How many square feet of the house you have? Well, 5,000 square feet of house, I have it. So that 5,000 square feet is the space point that you have occupied. The house is occupied. Similarly, nature of soul also has so many space points, and they are innumerable space points. These space points have the real nature of the space point is to be stationary in nature, and that is called ayoga attribute. Means the real nature is not to be in the vibratory fashion, it should be stationary fashion. But this ayoga attribute, when it's in a perverted form is getting expressed, that will be expressed in the form of vibratory activity of the soul space point. So yoga means what? Vibratory activity of the soul space point. Vibratory activity of the soul space point is called yoga, which is the altered form of ayoga attribute of the soul. The real nature of the soul is ayoga. Ayoga means stationary remain of this space point of the soul. Instead of that, right now it is in the form of altered form, which is called yoga, means vibratory activity of the space point. When this vibratory activity of the space point occurs, then what happens? Then the karma bondage occurs. Remember, vibratory activity of the space point is the reason for karma's attraction, and those karmas attraction to the soul is in the form of type and amount, prakriti and pradesh. What kind of karma will be bonded to me? It depends on what type of vibratory activity I have it. So vibratory activity will be reflected in the matter. Vibratory activity of the space point, which is called yoga, will be reflected into the matter, means body, in the form of speech, mind, and action. When we say yoga, means mano yoga, vachan yoga, kaya yoga, means activity of the mind, speech, and body. That is called yoga, but that is occurring because of original thing happens in the soul to start with. Soul's vibratory space point is the reason, and because of the soul's vibratory capacity of the space point, now externally I can see the action of mind, speech, and body activity. And generally when we say yoga means what? Jain perspective, yoga means man, vachan, kaya, and kriya. But man, vachan, kaya means they are matter. They are the non-living substances. I am the living, I am the consciousness, I am the soul. What happens to me? I don't care what happens to the matter particles. Mind, body, and speech are matter particles. I don't worry about them. I have to concentrate on my nature. I am the soul, and I have the yog, I have the vibratory activity of the space point, and my job is to make them stationary. Aryan Bhagwan in 13 Gunsthanak, 24 Bhagwan, from Rishabdev to Mahavir, and lots of souls without nature of being 24 gods. They could be also 13th Gunsthanak, and that is called Yog. Sayogi Kevali. Sayogi Kevali means the omniscient Lord with the soul's vibratory activity at the space point, and that is called Sayogi Kevali. So Mahavir at age of 42, when he obtains Keval Gnan, when he obtains omniscience, then he is known as having omniscience, but he still has vibratory activity at the space point of the soul. That's why he's still acquiring karma. Mahavir, after age 42 till 72 years of age, that he has a mind, speech, and a body activity going on because his soul has a vibratory activity of the space point. So that's a Sayogi. Sayogi means with the yog. And then on 14 Gunsthanak, the soul gives up this yog, and this vibratory activity of the space point cease to exist, and now stationary space point of the soul remains, and that is called Siddha Bhagwan. So liberated souls, they don't have activity of yog. Now they have the real attribute, ayog, comes into existence, and that's why they have no vibratory activity. And that means now there's stationary activity of the space point. Everything is stationary now, nothing is moving. If this earthquake is there, that the whole room is shaking right now, for example. But when the earthquake settles down, then we just take charge of all the things, and we just say, oh my God, nothing happened, we are fortunate. Nothing. So that type of thing happens to Siddha Bhagwan, that all his space point now cease to have the vibration, and so now they are for eternal time, they will remain in that phase forever. So soul's toxic emotions are the reason for karma's duration and intensity, and soul's yoga activity is the reason for types and amount of karma coming to me. So what kind of karma will come to me and how much amount of karma will come to me, that's a yoga. But my toxic emotion will decide how long the karma will stay with me, and when they come in fruition, how strong the fruition will be, positive or negative, it doesn't make difference. So these are the 4 types of karma. Now, these are the same thing that we are talking. Types of karma is prakriti, quantity of karma bondage is pradesh, duration of karma bondage is sthiti, intensity of karma fruition is anubhav. First 2 sets are due to yoga, means types of karma and quantity is because of yoga, and duration and intensity from toxic emotion point of view. Now the real fun starts over here. Yoga sthan, there's a word called yoga sthan. Yoga sthan means in karma particle, there is type of karma and quantity of karma particle bondage, means prakriti and pradesh bondage occurs. That means activity, the karma, the soul's vibratory activity of the space points are the instrumental cause in this phenomenon. Means soul has a vibratory activity of the space point, and because of that thing, type of karma and amount of karma particles are decided. And this vibratory activity of the space points are known as yoga sthan. Activity occur over here in the soul, and the types and amount of karma came to me. So this activity is called yoga sthan. Bear with me with this definition, and it will make meaning right away. Now, anubhav bandh and adhyavasan sthan, there's also big word is there, means karma gets bonded with a capacity to give certain intensity at the time of fruition. The soul's inclination of passion occurs as an instrumental cause in this bondage activity. The soul's passion inclinations are known as Anubhag Bandh or Adhyavasan Sthan. Now, basically what it says that Anubhag means Anubhag means intensity. What intensity this karma will give me fruition in the future? Will it be extreme amount of intensity of fruition, medium amount, mild amount, or teeny tiny amount? What is the intensity of this fruition will occur to me? For example, I have a good thing going on. Is it going to be remain in the intense form, or it's going to be in a milder form or moderate form? Or tomorrow, I may have a bad rise of karma, a bad fruition of karma, intense form, medium form, milder form. So all those medium, mild, intense form of karma fruition occurring to me, and at that time, soul's inclination, soul's toxic emotions are called Anubhag Sthan. Anubhag Bandh Adhyavasan Sthan. It's a very long word. There is one third word we have to say, Sthiti Bandh Sthan. The karma which got bonded, how long it will stay with me? 1 year, 10,000 years, 70 Sagropam, 33 Sagropam, whatever amount of time it will remain stuck with me, and that duration of her sticking with me is decided, and at the time, what was my soul's toxic emotion phase? Remember, toxic emotion, soul's toxic emotion remains for duration and intensity of fruition. So duration, intensity from the toxic emotion point of view. Then types of karma and amount of karma means it is soul's yoga activity. So all these things, now that we are coming to this Bhav Paravartan, with the first Yog Sthan occurring, the first Anubhag Bandh Sthan and first Sthiti Bandh Sthan occurs, and that is number 1. Means I have the 3 things: vibratory space point activity of certain type, and toxic emotion phase of my soul in certain types, and at the same time certain amount of karma getting bonded. If we give number 1, and then afterwards I just go into different inclinations and all kind of thing, but when I have the exact similar type of things occurring as number 2, intensity point of view, then number 3, number 4 and everything with my bhav, then once I finish the whole thing, then it is called one bhav paravartan. Means all my thought process going within me, all my toxic emotion phase going with me, that all those things occurring in sequence. For example, I am born, and at that time I have a teeny tiny slightest toxic emotion phase, and thereafter I had the next birth, I have an intense toxic emotion phase. It doesn't count. The first time, then the same intensity plus teeny tiny more, that's number 2, then number 3, then number 4 types of intensity occurring in sequence, not in between life, that when I go to millions and billions of other lives, that is not counted. In sequence, when I finish all my emotions taking birth in sequence, then it's called one bhav paravartan. And this is the longest of all the things. So that's what we try to stay over here. So these changes are observed only in fully, no, all this bhav paravartan occurs in a 5 sense, sentient, wrong believer living being. means Sangni, Panchendriya, Paryapta, Mithya Drashti, Jiv. These are the kind of things, because the thought process does not, I mean, it's so minuscule and microscopic in a 1 cents, 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, they are practically not counted. For example, somebody has a $100 million and I have $5 in my pocket. Compared to $100 million guy, what is my nature? What do I call? I'm going to call pauper. I'm going to call poor. But it's a comparison we are making it. But actually, I do have a $5. If I go to the market, I can get sandwich of my own because I have $5 with me. His $100 million is not useful to me. Similarly here, 1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents living being, they have a teeny tiny slight, so minuscule mind that it is as good as not having it, compared to my mind, which can discriminate from right from wrong. Keep talking forever and ever and ever and ever, I'll be exhausted. So I just say, I should talk less, or something like that. So I have capacity to think good and bad. So over here, 5 cents, fully developed, sentient living being who is a wrong believer, who have all this Adhyavasansthan, means all this Bhau-Paravartan, considering from that point. So now, if everything is occurring, all these changes in the 5 cents, sentient being, Sangni Panchendriya Jiv. So remember how many times I took birth in the first 1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents and everything. Infinite amount of time, but that's not counted. Only in this fifth, only in the 5 cents, and that to sentient, that to wrong believer, and those kind of souls, they're taking birth in their respective emotions in order, from one intensity to second to third to fourth, in a linear fashion. Then this one Bhau Paravartan is done. So it's the longest out of all 5. How many times I finished this Bhau Paravartan in the past? Infinite time. So that tells me how long am I existing. I'm existing forever. So these are the things that we have to keep in mind, that by doing this one, let's see what this one says here. This is the same thing happens here. So universal monarch is ruling wrong paid person rules everywhere. Okay, universal monarch is ruling everywhere. Means Chakravarti is a ruler of 12 area of the Bharat Kshetra, for example. So basically he's a universal monarch. So same way, this wrong faith person like me is ruling everywhere in this universe. I go from one form of life to second form of life to third. I keep on wandering and wandering in this cycle forever. Even when one is monk, but has not obtained Samyak Darshan, he is also wandering in these 4 realms of existence. Simply saying that, oh my God, he's a monk and everything, doesn't mean anything. He has to have the real experiencing of the soul. Then he's on the right path. Otherwise, he's just like us. So these are the things that how long am I existing in this circus, in this life. So wrong faith person is lifting unnecessary burden, just like bull lifting heavy weights. I keep on carrying this weight for no reason. I keep on carrying this burden of karma for no reason. I don't have to carry them, but my wrong belief keeps on doing this one. He believes that he must withstand suffering. But, so I'm human being, so what? I say suffering occurs. No, you have a choice. You don't have to suffer with the suffering. If you think right, if you think positive, the suffering can be ended. It's possible for you to do that. And wrongfully, he believes that he must do auspicious activity to obtain liberation. I just think that suffering is my second nature, the wrong belief. And then another wrong thing I believe, that I will do auspicious activity to get liberation. No, auspicious activity will not let me get the liberation, because auspicious activity will give me karma bondage. Bondage does not give liberation. So this kind of thing I have to understand properly. He believes that first he must look for instrumental cause to perform his action. Whatever it is, I always learn how to blame with the others. I have this thing happen because of somebody came on my way. I have this positive thing happen because of this thing. All the thing, I blame it to others, and I keep on blaming. But remember, when I say, you are the reason for my problem, you are the reason, you are the... when I'm pointing one finger to the other people, remaining 3 fingers are towards me. I have that much fault I have to accept, and I have to accept my own weaknesses. Once I understand, whole idea with this exercise we did for last 1 hour is to understand that who am I, what am I doing, and what is the way to get liberation. Acharya Bhagavan says, first you understand that who you are, how long you are existing, what you are suffering with. Once you understand that one, then Acharya Bhagavan says, I'm going to show you the pathway to get out of this misery that you are going through. So here we are finishing this 5 paravartan. That is a main crux, main part of this stanza number 4. And because since time infinite, I keep on doing this toxic emotion again and again and again and again. That's why I keep on wandering and again and wandering in this universe. But there is a way out. There is something I can do in which I will be able to get liberated. So what is that something? So Acharya Bhagavan will tell us. I think we'll just continue that one next week, and we'll find it out what to do. Any questions so far? It's a long thing, but remember, if Gurudev Kanji Swami has said that this Samaysar is 415 stanza, and it looks like huge things, because on one stanza he can talk for 2 and 3 and 4 hours of lectures, for example. But he says, don't worry. If you can finish first 14 stanza, 12, 13, 14, first 14 to 15 stanza, if you understand that thoroughly, the rest of the thing is further expansion of the stanza that you'll be knowing. So first 14, 15 stanzas that we are taking time, and again Gurudev also takes time to explain to us, and we are very fortunate we have all those things available. So we will try to look for this one, we will understand this one, and we will get liberated. We will get Samyak Darshan. Then after we'll be on the right path, and we will go further on. So these are the things that we are talking about. So throw me questions if you have. We have a couple of minutes probably that we can just go through it. And if not, then we'll just talk next time. If the question comes later on, throw the email to me, and probably we'll incorporate it in our discussion next time also, okay? Okay, anything else? Okay, all right, then we will just do the closing over. Any question, Preeti? Okay.
No question. Actually, maybe for next time, just helping with the last point you made with the types of karma.
Okay.
Just to give good summary again, that would be great.
We will do it. We'll do. Yeah, it is little bit technical and everything, but no, we'll make it easier, so it will be that easy to digest. Remember, even if I don't understand all those things, karma thing, because I'm not a karma, I'm the conscious nature. Karma is separate from me, but I should know them, what is their nature and everything. So it's good to know those things. Yes, good.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, then we'll do the closing. Sarva Mangala Mangalyam Sarva Kalyana Karakam Pradhanam Sarva Dharmanam Jainam Jaitu Sasanam Jaitu Sasanam Rani ke Gyan se Suje Lokalo Sovani Mastaka Namo Sada Deta. No but Namokar mantra. No time. 9 times Namokar mantra.
Yes.
Okay. Jai Jalan everybody. We'll see you next week. Okay. Bye.